Everybody, I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the Lifeboat 5 o'clock show. Back in the saddle, people. Hey, Squirrel, speaking of back in the saddle, Squirrel just broke my charger. Fortunately, my brother had a backup. It was my rapid charger. It's a bummer when you lose a rapid charger, because with my phone, I have a, what do you call it? Android. Thank you. So I've got an Android phone, and the Android phone that I have, you can charge this puppy in like 20 minutes. Like, the only really cool thing about this phone is how fast it charges. And without that, I don't know. I kind of feel like I'm getting rooked. Okay, so if you saw tonight's thumbnail, first, do you love the Where's Danny shirt? Tell me this isn't boss. Somebody gave this to me yesterday at the protest in Hollywood. Squirrel does love to mess with me, Susie Q. It's what Squirrel does. Hello, Christy. Squirrel was, I guess, really out of control while I was gone. And my brother Johnny's, he's a little upset. I did have a great time at the protest, Twisted Sister. It was a good time. I ran into a lot of people that I had already met. The Jane Does, 2 of them went out there yesterday, which was awesome. Getting a chance to see them and hang out with them again yesterday was really cool. But there's a lot of people out there. I told the story in the past about getting into the Danny Masterson trial and how close we came to not getting in. I mean, Alan and I were the last 2 people in the door. Bottom line, there was nobody after us. So we just made it by the skin of our teeth. And there was a really kind woman there that sort of held our hand and got us through the entire process. So it was the 3 of us were the last 3 to get in. But she came out to the protest yesterday. It was great to see her again, because I wanted to thank her. I ran out that front door when that trial was over. I sprinted out the front door to start broadcasting, so I never really got a chance to give her a hug and say thank you. So that was cool. It was I had a really good time. It was fun. If you saw tonight's thumbnail, this thumbnail says something along the lines of, "What's the matter with you?" Or "What's the matter with me?" Could be one or the other. I can't remember exactly what it says, but you get the idea. The idea is, what is wrong with me, or what is wrong with you? And my answer to this would probably be quite a bit. I have yet to meet somebody that doesn't have something going on. I haven't. It would be really great if I did. I just don't know that that's realistic. The way we're built, sadly, we tend to stock up on trauma, and we carry it around for long periods of time, and it changes who we are. It changes how we live. It changes how we treat the people around us that we love. None of these are particularly good things. So the goal has been, from Jump Street, to try to figure out a way to get through life where we're comfortable in our own skin, right? And we don't feel the need to drug ourselves or to go to any other crazy extreme, right? Drugging is just one symptom. There are so many different symptoms that people can have. But getting through life, Susie Q says, "Yeah, how much time you got?" Yeah, that's a tough. Seven Son said he was dropped as a child. I know that happened to Johnny. I know it did. I've been saying that since I was old enough to speak. Mom dropped him on his head. There's no other way that explains it.
I think I was spiked for football.
Yeah, Twisted Sister. That was what was that? See, hear that? Mama Scoville says she did not drop him on his head as a kid. I don't know that I buy any of that, to be really honest. But you know what, V, you could talk to a doctor about that. That sounds, I get really out of whack with my sleep schedule, and it's something that I think happens to a lot of people. And it's something that I don't know. You need to. I would talk to a doctor. I really would. It's important. It's super important. In fact, it may be the most important thing in the world. Hey, Jody, good to see you. I'm glad that you made it. I'm glad that you're here. The one of the things that I don't talk about enough, and I think it's something that really, really bears mention, that this process of recovery, whether that's recovery from drugs or whether it's recovery from anything else. It is a process, right? You hear all the cliches and they're all good ones, right? This isn't a sprint, it's a marathon. Well, it's not. It's a run that you're going to make for the rest of your life, right? So a little bit longer than a marathon. This is everything from here to eternity, right? So I would recommend professional help. I really would. I think it's and it's not something that I've talked about enough here. Fire and herbs nurse. Well, we're glad that you made it. You're not that late, although we could start over. It's only been 6 minutes. What do you think? Hey, everybody, I'm Captain Tommy Scoble, and you were on the life. No. So the process needs to start with some really, really basic stuff that we talk about on the boat. And it's one of the things that no matter what subject I do, if I do bullet points, one of the first things that I'm going to say is you got to take care of yourself, right? You have got to take care of yourself. Now, I suck at this. Life moves pretty fast, says Jeremy Shelton, and he knows. It's a great piece of advice, by the way. True story. Everything I ever needed to know in life, I learned from a Hughes film from the 1980s. Pretty solid, pretty solid. So this process of recovery leaves all of us struggling to make sense of things from our past, and doing it on our own sometimes isn't realistic. It's not for me. And because of what I do on the lifeboat, it's super essential that I talk to professionals about what I do and about how I feel and things like that. And I promise you, it went against every single thing that I am. It went against every fiber of my being to sit down and talk to people that I didn't know about problems from my past. But you come to realize that professionals really have a way of putting this stuff so that I understand it, and giving me, as cheesy as it sounds, giving me the tools to do this myself. The idea is we would like to get through life without dope or without any other assistance. That means developing a really sick set of tools. And we talk about them all the time on the lifeboat, and you can learn a ton from people here. And we talk about having a 5, and I think it's absolutely essential. But you know what? You really better communicate, and I mean big time communicate with your 5. And lay out some ground rules and tell them exactly what you expect from them. Because one of the sad things about the 5 is that it's super easy to find people who say, yeah, you know what? I'd be more than happy to be in your 5. Let them know what that means to you, because it may mean something completely different to you than it means to me. Let me tell you what my 5 means to me. I'm not going to call you and say, I'd like to work through some stuff, right? Counselors are good for that. Journals are fantastic for that. And if you need a friend like that, fantastic, tell them. But that's not what I would tell you. What I would tell you if you're in my 5 is when I have got nothing left in the tool bag, I don't have one more trick I can pull out to keep Tommy sober, and I'm doing this one, right? Now I'm calling the people in my 5, and I'm calling them when it's the ripcord time. Like, I'm not going to make it. The reason I'm calling you is I'm thinking about getting high. Like, I've gotten to that point, right? Now, that's not necessarily what everyone is going to need. Communicate. And then whether that's here on the lifeboat or any peer support or anything of that, of the type. Hey, Johnny, good to see you. Where is Balake? Well, that's a good question. Balake is in South Africa, I believe. So I don't know what time it is there. Sometimes that can play havoc, but I don't know exactly what time it is in South Africa. So start looking at the most basic stuff that we can do. One of the things, sadly, is that as addicts, we beat the crap out of ourselves, not just physically, emotionally, and everything else. The period of time that I was running and gunning and going hard, I talk all the time about how bad my mental state was. But you got to realize that 90% of the time I went to bed between 2 and 4 a.m., right? That was pretty much standard operating procedure. And I went to bed when I had done Hunter Haas. Good Lord. Do you see this? Hunter Haas. Look at that. I'll be damned. Good to see you, Hunter. Long time no see. I'll be damned. Good to see you. So this would come at a time when I had done so much dope over the course of a day. The cumulative effect would have caused the nod that people talk about. I didn't get that during the day. I could run around and do the things that I had to do. I never nodded out. But if I built up enough dope, by the time I had gotten to that 6 or 7 gram mark, I would start to do the nod out thing. And that would be about between 2 and 4 a.m. And then I would wake up sometime between 12 and 3 in whatever I had fallen asleep in. So probably a pair of jeans and a t-shirt or something. But that was my life. I didn't live a healthy existence. In fact, at the end, if I was showering once a week, it was probably a miracle. You know, water doesn't feel really good on your skin when you're in withdrawal. You know, so I tended to avoid that like the plague. All of these things you realize are really, really bad. And we all do this to some degree. V, I'm not picking on you, Miss V, but the sleep patterns that you're talking about and you're describing really mess with people, right? That's if we really want to give the recovery thing the best chance we got, right? You got to give your chance the best. You got to give your body and your mind the best chance for sobriety. Plain and simple. If you're not taking care of your body, for the rest of it's done. I promise. There's a reason that every time we talk about anything, whether it's relapse, whether it's, I mean, honestly, any subject that you possibly can, we're always going to talk about taking care of your body, making sure that you're getting enough sleep, making sure that you're getting enough to eat. Fell off the boat, but found the lifesaver. Awesome. We're really happy to have you back, dude. That's excellent. I love it when that happens. Jackie, Jermaine, Marlon, Tito, and Michael. That's solid on the way to work right there. ABC. Good evening, Mind Games. Good to see you. Charlie Mullins, how are you? Seventh son, always good. Yes, Tommy has the con. Steve, thank you.
I don't want to interrupt you,
Go ahead.
but you have to don't read this out loud. This is really
Hold on, everybody. Sadly, Johnny Scoville is in the room. No, I'm kidding. Sorry.
Yeah.
V, please get some sleep, and I hope that that you get to a sleep schedule that's going to keep you feeling better. Mischief says, insomnia is a huge problem for me. Much better now that I'm retired. I can sleep when I can. I suffer very badly with sleep disorders, horrendously. And I'm working on it. It's something that I'm working on in a really big way, because I know that this is probably the biggest stumbling block in my life, is the fact that when I'm not sleeping right, everything else is off. And I've told you, I've been struggling with the nightmare thing. I did pretty well on the road. Oddly enough, when I got on the road, maybe I just had so much going on or whatever the story is. But when I get sleep, I'm a different human being. And that's everybody. I promise you. But if one spoke and that wheel goes out, right? Anybody that's ever ridden a bike knows what I'm talking about. But one spoke and you're screwed. If you're not eating right, then you're not sleeping right. I promise you. It really is like a domino thing. And you have to start at the very basic, the most basic level that you possibly can, taking care of yourself. Taking care of yourself in terms of what you're eating, how much sleep you're getting, exercise. All normal things that actually will make you feel better as a human being, right? Good stuff. That would be your physical. Eating, sleeping, exercise, taking care of yourself, right? Now, we have, it's the same kind of thing. Reward yourself with things that feel good. Oh, pulled pork and potato salad actually sounds really good. I almost wish you hadn't told me what you had. Hold on, that was kind of funny. Love Johnny's channel, but it gives me anxiety watching him suffer. Oh, well, then you're not doing it right. I promise you, I get no anxiety whatsoever watching my brother suffer. In fact, I dig it. I'm not going to lie to you. It's just something I like to do from time to time. Just check in there, maybe go back through some really, really tough stuff. Maybe a plutonium video. Having a bad day. Just cheers me up.
Thank you.
Oh, it is what it is. Honey, thank you. It's good to be back home. I am comfortable. Yes.
Thanks.
There is no place like home. There's a lot of truth to that.
Thanks, Calhoun.
Spanx Calhoun. Did he call me Cap? You're not allowed to call me Cap. That's simply not allowed. Do you see that photo? That one over there looks remarkably like his thumbnail. Do you see the one with him?
Yeah.
Calhoun, I got the best picture of you. It's got you're holding Ralphie, or you're laying next to Ralphie on a bed, and he's as big as you are. You got on a bathrobe. It's a great picture. Happy Sunday to you too, my boy. That's my son, people. If you're brand new to the Lifeboat, Spanx Calhoun is my son. He's going to be doing a show with me this week. We're doing a keeping up with him because Spanx has now been sober a long time, and we're going to be celebrating it. It just continues to continues to do better and better. Could not be any more proud. But again, we get back to basics. Things that make you happy, right? When I say it's really an important thing to maybe go out and get a hobby, get something that get something that you're passionate about. Go out there and find something that doesn't have anything to do with our previous life that makes you happy. And make it a habit. And make it something that is going to bring joy into your life. Reward yourself. Spend time with people who are kind to you. Right? Stuff sounds basic, doesn't it? But you know what we do instead? Honestly, think about it. So go back to me when I'm doing dope and I'm not sleeping. I'm getting the worst sleep hours in the world, and I'm not kidding you. I could quiz him right now without you, hearing it. The amount of food that we ate when we were in full-blown addiction, especially there at the end. I'm not joking you when I said we used to eat like once a week. We'd eat a lot. We'd eat steak, and we'd eat a grip of it, like pounds. But we ate once a week, if that. 2 days away from 8 months. How good is that? How good is that?
That's awesome.
And you know what's amazing is I remember the night that he called me. I had gotten a message from him earlier in the night. It was really obvious he was going through it. Yeah, 1 year is so in sight. Spanx, really fantastic stuff. Hulkamania running wild, says Seventh Son. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that has never been said in the comment section of the Lifeboat in 2 years. There aren't that many things you're going to come up with that have not been said in the comment section. Spanx, well done. Keep it up, please. So proud of you. Spend time with people you can be kind to. That's a great comment. Right. Spend time with people you can be kind to. Excellent. Really glad that you said that. Start looking at yourself and this entire walk of sobriety, this healing journey, right? Where you're trying to learn to live comfortably in your own skin and get over the trauma that you're living with, right? That process is going to be a much easier one if you take care of yourself, right? Your body, your mind, and if you bring in someone who knows what they're doing professionally. I promise you, this is a really good idea. And I know that there are people who are hearing this and just going, oh man, the reason I come here is because I don't want to do anything like that. And I get that. I really do. But to be perfectly honest with you, I think that most of us benefit dramatically from having someone who understands the game. Mental and physical trauma are no joke. Fortunately, military is lessening the stigma of seeking help. It was important to establish therapy with WWs ASAP if willing. Oh, sorry. There we go. I'm glad that this is a great comment. The stigma that is attached. One of the most important things, in my opinion, about seeking out professional help, no joke whatsoever, is the act of saying I need help. Honest to God, this was for me probably the biggest paradigm shift in my life in all of the time that I've been on this planet. For real. That if I had not taken the first step towards saying I can't do this alone, I wouldn't be here. I promise you. There's no chance in hell that I would be here. That was for me the beginning of the end. Sorry. I knew a gopher once. Well, twice. First time he was funny. The second, well, Dan Aykroyd and Jackie Mason.
Are you saying that because I said go forever?
Go Forever? Great movie. You know, I know that everybody is bummed that yesterday we didn't get to do Saturday Night Boat. I apologize. I promise we'll be back next week for it. So the concept of asking for help, when you start doing this with a professional and you start to get comfortable exploring concepts that you haven't before, we talk a lot about journaling on the lifeboat, and I think it's in my life, it's probably the most important part of my sobriety, hands down. Routine in general is huge, and journaling is a part of that routine. I took a journal on the road when I was traveling. I got to get stuff out of my head. I can't leave it in there. I did that for 46 years, and I watched what happened, and it just was hideous, right? It did not work well. So these days, journaling has become a huge part of my sobriety. And journaling is so much like seeing a counselor. It's incredible if you're doing it right. But when you start peeling the onion to get deep to what's really the root cause of why you're using, or why you're overeating, or why you're not eating, or why you're hurting yourself, or any of the things that people use to try to feel comfortable in their own skin. All right, any of those. What are you doing to my cat?
Play with it.
I'm telling you, man, Johnny is this poor animal. It is actually really cute, but it's a give me this cat. I've got to take the cat away from my brothers. No, you're not kidding. You can go ahead.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I mean, you're out of control, dude. Neck and neck. The asking for help and the ditching the stigma. The other thing that I can't emphasize enough is that a lot of times, especially when we're coming off of an addiction, like I remember being militantly anti-drug, right? When I first quit, like I was sickened by everybody in the room that was getting high. Like I'd look around the day room at guys that 3 days earlier I was getting high with and just be disgusted. You know what I mean? Like, what a dirt bag. It was something that that whole process when you first begin to quit was a difficult thing for me in my dome. And at first, I wouldn't take an aspirin. I'm not kidding you. Like I got to a point where I didn't want anything in my brain. I didn't want to feel that there was anything that was changing how my mental processes work, only to find out that I really badly needed a drug that was going to change how my mental processes work. When I quit doing heroin after as many decades as I had been doing it, working with Q and doing everything that I was doing, I still went into a really heavy depression, right? I had just lost the best friend I had ever had, right? That's really what that drug was to me. When I got into a situation where I felt out of control, heroin made that feeling go away. If I was afraid, heroin made that feeling go away. If I was way too happy, heroin made that feeling go away. It just kept me at a nice baseline. For me, that's what I was looking for. And sadly, I think we all do that. We give up the highs, right? All of them, the real ones, we give them all up. And we give them all up because we don't want the lows. So what we end up with is this drugged out center spot where nothing is really real. You don't get to enjoy any of the things that make this life fantastic. And you don't get to suffer through any of the things that make you better. Because sadly, there is a decent amount of pain in everything that I've ever done to grow. Every time I ever ended up a better person, it was because of some suffering that I went through. Oh, Diana, I was just talking about you earlier. People, this is who I was talking about. Diana was the most helpful person in the world. It was fantastic seeing you and your daughter yesterday. It was great. And I on the way home last night, I was talking to Alan Ballantyne, who was with me at the Danny Masterson trial. And I said, "You're not going to believe who I ran into." He said, "I hope you told her hello." I said, "I did." Yeah, you saved us. Honestly, people. Sometimes when I say things, I don't think people really get them. I struggle with a lot of things that other people seem to do really, really easily. And you get me in a building where there's 15 police officers, right? That you're going to have a conversation with to figure out where you're going and all that. Like I walked in the door and just started to get the, oh, this isn't going to go well thing at all. Like it just, and there was I had to come up and go, hey, I know you. I said, perfect help. Yeah, it was and you know what else, I will call you on this though, since you're here, and because I didn't tell this story, I don't know that I've told the story yet on the boat, but so I wanted to scoop the whole crew, right? I wanted to be the absolute first person out that door hitting live on my phone, and I was, without a doubt. But in order to try to make that happen, they take your phone and they hand you this little bag that you have to put your phone in. First, the nice officer watches you actually turn the phone off, right? So you've got to kind of manipulate the phone into an off position so that they can see that. And once that's actually done, they put this thing and there's this loud snapping sound. It's almost like the anti-theft devices you see at stores. It's got the big thing on the shirt. It's kind of like that kind of a sealing system, but it's at the top of a bag that you couldn't rip into. Very, very tough bag. So I'm sitting next to Diana and I'm trying to work this thing open, because when the door opens, I don't want to have the cop. I just want to throw the bag at him and run outside. So I'm sitting here working on this thing. And she told me the last time she was in court, she managed to get the bag open. She said, I actually even took a picture inside the court. I said, you got to be kidding. So she showed me the picture she took inside the court. So I was like, I got to get this bag open. And I started working, and it went snap, like it was the loudest, gnarliest sound you ever heard. And Diana was kind enough to look over at me and say, you're busted. Everybody heard that. And I mean, every single person in the courtroom heard it. They all turned and looked, and I was like this trying to, and Diana did hit me with it. You're busted. But I was the first person out the door. I managed to sprint out there with my my phone quickly. So hanging with Mr. Ray Ray. Do you see this? Attaboy, Mr. Hanging with Mr. Ray Ray. Joni Cummings, thank you so much. Really glad that you're here. I am happy that you found the lifeboat. It's been a great match, truthfully, and I'm glad that you're here. And hanging with Mr. Ray Ray. I'm glad that you are here too. He said, my friend quit doing heroin in 1990. He broke his shoulder and he prayed to God that he could, but because of his history, the doctors were worried about getting sued. He had a full replacement surgery done, and he only got Tylenol because the doctors were worried about getting sued. He died 3 months later. That's horrendous. There is a huge problem in the medical community right now with how pain is treated. And it's, I'm 100% convinced it's the reason that that we don't have Buddha. Right. That was a guy that he was in pain. And, if you go in and you tell somebody that you've had, 27 surgeries on your back and you're trying to get in for, for pain management, and they say, sure, I can fit you in next June. They got to realize what that means. It doesn't mean that from now till next June, the person's going to just lay there in pain. Right. It doesn't work that way. Nobody can do that. I have a very unique relationship with pain. So does my brother. I promise you, you're not going to do that. Right. With back pain, it's just not something that you can sit and in fact, my brother's been having a little bit of back pain, and it's one of those things that when you have, it's all you can think about. It's overwhelming. And yeah, right now it's really, really bad. No, the photographer, no one ever has to worry about catching up for anything. We just want everybody to be here. Never worry about any of that stuff. Come on, man. Come on, man. We're really happy to see you here, photographer. You've been missed. So don't worry about any of that. I'm just really glad that you're here. True story. Christy, it's, you know what? I love sometimes people, you ever see me just sort of stare off into the distance like I don't know where I am? It's because so often I will read something that one of you wrote in the comments, and it's not something I'm going to read out loud on the boat, but you read it and you just go, oh man, that's just a beautiful, It's a beautiful thing to say. It's just something you read and it just sort of touches you. And, when you sit in this chair, that happens a lot. So it's not the fact that Mama Scoville dropped me on my head. It's that you guys say really cool things in the comment section that occasionally sort of throws me off in a good way, in the best of ways. So the hurdle of the stigma thing is probably the most important thing that all of us can do with one another, right? There are things that we say in this world that we don't think about, right? Like I've said this a million times on the boat. I refer to myself as a junkie. I don't do it on the boat because I know that for some people, they don't want to hear that. And it's painful. I thought of myself as that. That's always how I'm going to identify in my head. Now I know it's not a great word and I'm not encouraging other people to say it because I don't want people to be treated like what that term makes you think in your head. But for me, it's always going to be one of those things that I'm going to struggle with in terms of the mental image, right? Stigma's huge. It's absolutely huge. It's a massive thing. And when your brain starts processing something in some way, so we say things like, that dude's crazy. It's not something you think about. It's just, oh, that's nuts. That's crazy, right? These are terms that we say constantly, but there are stigmas attached to anything. Snot face. It is so good to see you. Let's see this here. Well, you know what? You need to come here and talk to us about it when it's happening. Snot face. Please come here and talk about it. Len, connect. I think that I would imagine this is going to be tough, and we'll be keeping you and your husband in our thoughts and prayers. I know this is a tough time for anybody who's in a military family, but thoughts and prayers, Snot face, and please just stay connected. Again, it's a perfect sort of segue back into the things that we were talking about. But when we start to do things in that domino effect that I was talking about earlier, when you start to do things correctly and you're eating right and you're sleeping right and you're exercising and all of those things, right? If one of those spokes gets out of whack, you end up in bad shape, right? In a quick fashion. So it becomes a life of balance. It becomes a situation where you need to ensure that through things like journaling, right, that you're keeping an account on where you're at and keeping a short leash on where you're at, because it is really easy to let things spiral out of control. And what I mean by that is we don't, hey, Wharton, good to see you. We don't sleep right? You start skipping a few meals and you're not sleeping right. And you're starting to get a little bit out of whack with the body. And then that hobby that you picked up that you love, right? You go down and you do jujitsu twice a week and you've been exercising and it's just a good thing for you. But you know what? You're tired. So you skip a day or two of that. And then the next thing you know, we're isolating. We're not getting out. We're not doing the things that we were doing that are making us happy. And we begin to withdraw. And once we start to withdraw, Kathy Dove, good to see you. Johnny, how about that? Kathy Dove. Good to see you, Kath. So glad that you're here. We start pulling back and we start withdrawing. And I'll make you a promise right now, people, the fastest way to go from a 6 to a 10 in the process of withdrawal is to cut away from everybody that you know. You want to go from the fast track to feeling like you're getting a little out of control to where you're sitting at a bar. Isolate. The opposite of addiction is connection, right? So ipso facto, right? Therefore, the opposite obviously applies. If you're going to withdraw, if you're going to remove the connection that you have in your life to people who are positive influences on you, you're going to use. Is there anybody not clear on this? For real? Is this in any way, shape, or form, is this a freaking gray area to any of you? If you withdraw, you're going to end up using. I promise. And the ability to say, like, just Snotface coming here and saying what she said. It's saying, you know what? I'm not sure I'm going to be all right. I may need help. I would love to think that all of you are going to be here for me when that time comes, right? That's a beautiful thing. It really is. Way more that she's willing to come here and say that, because I promise you there'll be people here, right? There will absolutely be people here that want to help. There will always be that case. The hard part is for someone to come and do just what she just did. And you know what? This is probably going to be the easiest icebreaker for you that you've ever had, because no one's looking at you, right? And to be really honest, I couldn't tell you Snotface's first name, and don't tell me your first name. But you understand what I'm saying? I don't know. This is about as anonymous as you can be and still start that process of saying, you know what, I can't do it on my own. It's a massive thing to relinquish that. To say that out loud is probably the biggest thing in the world if you want to heal. If you want to live a life that is going to be content, saying out loud, I'm going to need some help with this, absolutely will change your life. You agree with me?
100%.
Absolutely massive. Sometimes it's hard to get the gumption to do your daily workout, but nothing feels better than when you go and do it. Finish with a sense of accomplishment. You know what, Jeremy? I'm glad that you said this. I remember having a conversation with my brother Johnny a million years ago when I went to state prison. We talked, and he wasn't going to come down and see me. It's got to be really hard to look at your brother in a cage. So we made one exception. It was because I had a parole hearing. So Johnny came down with Papa Scoville. The two of them came in for a visit at the which was an experience. It was, but the point was I was yoked up. I'd spent a lot of time pumping iron, and I think that I was kind of probably getting the convict look. You know what I mean? Where you probably don't put enough time on leg days, but you get right, just sort of puffy in the chest and looking ridiculous. But we started talking, and I remember saying to him, "But it's such a metaphor for life, because you get up and you don't want to do it." And you know, I was in a place where it snowed, and we'd get up in the morning, and you had a 9 o'clock slot. And what that meant is that you and 3 other convicts were going to be lifting weights at 9 o'clock. Now, if you're not there, right, you lose the spot, and the spots are held in perpetuity. So you do not miss a day, right? You want to own that spot. And we'd go out there in the snow, no matter how ugly it was, raining, whatever, because you're not going to lose the spot. And the metaphor was great. You know, there are times in life where it's going to rain and it's going to suck, but you got to get up and you got to do it. And that was a good, I mean, honestly, that was another one of those things in life that I came away from feeling like I understood myself a little bit better. I was years, by the way, away from being sober. I mean, I was still really, really a mess, but the process of starting to actually try to think was happening at that point. Prison has that effect on me. It's usually when I get out that I get stupid. Here is a good place to start. And once
Jeremy Sheldon says it's totally anonymous here. Heck, apparently, I'm even using my fake name.
we are, you know, no one's,
Whatever, dude.
there's nothing,
Whatever,
you're not faking anybody with that, Jeremy. I mean, we love you, bud. We love you.
Still do.
I like that you
Just
use.
like
I like
always
that you
did.
use the J if you want to know the truth. I thought that was kind of
Not
clever.
lost on me.
No, not at all. The Shelton thing threw me off, but you're good. We're not mad at you. We're not mad at you. We love you, bud. We love you. Yes, it's a good place to start, and one step at a time. And I'll tell you something. The concept of breaking things off into things that you can digest is also huge, right? There really is something to be said for this. Hold on, I gotta make sure that's not a family member. Now we're good. Yeah, and you're guilty. We love you, bud, but you're guilty. We know.
Just like
Dubious Maximus, blessings and shalom, brothers and sisters. Stand strong. You're never alone. Welcome to the boat. It's a lovely sentiment. I love it. I don't know that I've ever said hello to you, Dubious Maximus. I kind of feel like if I uttered Dubious Maximus, I'd remember it.
Yeah, because I'm going to say it a lot.
You're going to say it a lot just today, Dubious Maximus. It's got a nice ring to it. I'm not going to lie to you. It rolls off the top. I was going to say that, believe it or not. I really was.
Yeah. I stole that.
Chronic pain sucks, Mischief. I'm not sure how much food it is doing me or how much good it's doing me. There you go. That makes more sense. I'm also very isolated, says Angel Dreams. Well, this is a good place to start the process of not isolating. If you have never gone over to Facebook, don't put in the comment section right now how much you hate Facebook. I hate Facebook more than you do. All right? Hate it. I don't post things on it. I don't do anything on it. Hate it. You like it?
Not a bit.
Not a fan. However, we need a place that you can come and say, hey, here's how you can contact me if you're trying to put together some peer support, which is what we do here, right? It's people who are helping one another in theory, right? They're helping them stay sober. And like I said, for me, my 5 are the people that I call when every other tool I have is exhausted, because I'm not trying to put together 5 people who are going to be the tools who help me stay sober. That's a crap thing to do to a human being. Do you know how I know that? Because I have been the sobriety for a lot of people. When I started this channel, I didn't do it right because I didn't really know what I was doing. And there are people who stayed sober because they talked to me for an hour and a half a day. And you just can't do that. It's not something that you can do, right? What you need to do is teach people to do this and do it on their own. So putting together a group of 5 individuals and telling them what you need from them, telling them, exactly how this is going to be going to go down is not something you're going to pull off here, right? Here, they'll call that doxing. But over on Facebook, so we have a lifeboat group page on Facebook. Now, not everybody is in it, right? You got to be, you got to go and put in who you are, and then we accept you. And there's people that don't get accepted for reasons. So we try to keep it as clean as possible so that it's a very safe environment for people to meet one another and start working on this whole journey of peer supported sobriety, right? So go over there and go over there and set up on the Lifeboat Facebook page. You don't see me over there very often. Sometimes I'll post if I'm going to be doing a show that I know is not going to get a notification. YouTube does not send out notifications 6 times a day. So if I end up doing 3 videos, only 2 of them are going to get announced. So sometimes I'll go over there and let I don't know what we got in there, 400 people or something like that over there. We let them all know what's going on. But that's, this is a great place to start not isolating. And you can do it in the chat. You can do it in the comment sections, right? But it's probably best if you start meeting people and really start to connect. And you will find that very often these the people that you meet are going to educate you in ways that you probably didn't see coming. And if it's a bad fit, tell them that, right? No harm, no foul. You know what? Thought this was going to be a better match. It's got nothing to do with you at all. I'm looking for someone that's going to make me feel like I want to stay sober if I have to make that call. And you know what? It's not a great match. Communication is a beautiful thing. It really is. And if you do it right, people's feelings don't get too hurt. It's all about, honestly, if you're not putting yourself as the most important thing in your sobriety, we'll be here, right? We're not going anywhere, but you're going to end up using. If anything is more important than you and your sobriety, I promise you're going to end up using. Your sobriety has to be first. Enjoying the show, Tommy. You and Johnny have always been one of the few people that have brought a smile to my face in a while. Hunter, I'm glad to hear that. Hunter's been around since the very first day that I ever put up a video on YouTube. That's an absolute fact. I remember it. And he's been on
years and years and years.
Yeah. He's got a wrench over on
I'm not sure if he has a wrench. He needs one.
He does.
JC.
If you say something, I'm going to throw something at you. So let me just work through this. Holy mackerel. Do you love it when people do that? Chocolate babies? No, you're not even in the ballpark. Right? You're throwing out the LA Beast.
Oh, yeah.
That was the very first place I think I ran into him was actually at watching something on LA Beast's channel, and he was a wrench over there.
LA Beast going to be bad.
The LA Beast, you know what? I have not had a chance to say anything about that live since I heard about it. Did you go live and do it?
I did on live stream. I did in a few videos.
Yeah, congratulations to LA Beast. If you've never watched LA Beast, where have you been? Seriously, the second greatest retching noise anywhere filmed in history.
Yeah.
Of course, that would be me.
YouTube should pay him 10 cents on every dollar that they ever make. He builds YouTube.
Oh, no way. Listen to this. Snotface says, I just told the director of my library about Johnny's channel. His daughter is obsessed with watching people eat. Hold on. With watching people eat hot things. I thought it was a match made in heaven. Well, it is a match made in heaven. What you'll have to do, Snotface, is you'll have to send me a message so we can get the girl's first name so that Johnny can make a big deal of it if she's going to watch it.
I would love that.
He loves that. For real. That's cool stuff. So we can may as well say hi while he's getting burned really bad. Have a good day, Dad. Was that from my boy? Did I miss it?
Have a good day.
Have a good day. Oh, there you go. Pretty slick. Pretty slick. Yeah, it is the same guy. Yeah, you're not. See, you probably should have let that one go. He couldn't let it down. He couldn't let it go. Couldn't let it go. How do you stop a bull from charging?
Take away his credit card.
Ba-dum-bum. See, if you just see this cat, you would think she is just.
That's what I'm saying.
Just the nicest and the cutest thing. She is absolutely evil.
In the middle of the night,
I'm telling you, man.
Not cool.
Not cool. Uncool. So uncool. Booyah. He says, I love you guys so much. I just fell off the face of the earth for a while. Literally trying to work on myself again. It's crazy how fast you let yourself go when you isolate.
Wow, it's not that crutch at all.
And that's it.
Glad to see you, man.
Yeah, really glad to see you, Hunter. And you know what? I remember reaching out to Hunter a while back, and he said, I said, you doing all right? Is everything all right? He said, yeah, I'm just going to be pulling back from from YouTube and from the net for a little while. And you know what? Look, I'm always telling people you should spend less time online. I tell everybody that. Every single person I talk to, you should spend less time online. Except if you're watching the lifeboat. I mean, I know it sounds ridiculous, but honestly, we all should spend a little bit less time online. However, what you're doing with that time makes a difference, right? It absolutely does. I mean, if you're spending, 3 hours reading, it's probably a little bit different than if you spend 3 hours watching, videos of guys getting hit in the junk with baseballs, right? Thrown by their kids or hit by,
Bag of nickels.
Bag of nickels. Why was the broom late to work? It overswept. That's awful. I just watched Johnny's video of skydiving while eating fistful of peppers. He's a crazy guy, says Zelda. Zelda, you don't have any idea. He's not right. As I said, he was dropped on his head as a kid.
You're doing the next one with me.
I'm doing the next what with you?
Skydiving.
Oh, yeah, I'll do that. I like skydiving. It's the eating the peppers part I don't want to do. I ate some peanut brittle today.
I told you it was hot.
You did. But you know what? That was still slick.
Slick.
Yeah, slick. Because he did no, man, this stuff's real hot. But no, what you should have said was, what? You think that's legit? What you should have said was, nobody in humanity has ever made peanut brittle that was even in the ballpark of this hot. Could you guys hold on 1 second?
Blazing Foods did.
Hold on 1 second. Shh. You're live on the lifeboat. How you feeling? You all right? Yeah? Okay. Can we give a thumbs up? All right. Okay. Well, everybody, there are a lot of thoughts and prayers for you here. So I'm going to tell everybody that you're doing all right, but we're live. So reach out to you when it's over, all right? What's that? I will. Yeah, I will. All right. Hang in there. Okay. That was Lady Fiona Crispin, who is a member in good standing of the lifeboat, has been since August the 12th, 2021. That was the Stroming day, the first time. The first time today it's Stroming. Yeah. Anyway, Lady Crispin had surgery and is home from the hospital and is recovering. So if we could get, Hunter, thank you, my friend. You look great and green. If we could get some thoughts and prayers for Lady Crispin, really has done as much for the lifeboat as anybody. You know, the hosts included. She's been really an absolute pillar on the boat from very very early on, and she's recovering from a tough surgery. She's home, but could still use some thoughts and prayers and all the love we can send her. Our first Linda, right? Well, first and only Linda, actually, but she was and is a absolute mover on the lifeboat. So we hope she's feeling better. And I sent a bunch of messages today, kind of chastising her for not letting us know how she was doing. So she's letting us know how she was doing. Sorry. Did you just really? Wow, man. You can't really do a show with your brother in the room. It's out of control. I'm going to neck that in, man. Virginia, good to see you. Lady Spellbreaker, glad that you're here. What is a pirate's favorite letter? The C. I would have thought it was an R. I've told this story a million times on the boat, but when we were doing that infomercial, the first one that I did, the one that everyone likes to come out with and act like they're scooping. So I did an infomercial, and the very first one that we did had a family on it that brought a child to the filming, and the child was like 6 or 7, and the host, whose name was Danny, he says to me, I said, the kid looks a little freaked out to be here. And I mean, there were lights and cameras and all that. He wasn't young. And I said, the kid just kind of looks a little freaked out to me. And Danny goes, I'm great with kids. He's like, I'll ease him into it, because they were going to film with the kid on camera. It didn't actually work out that way because the kid had a bad reaction to Danny. But Danny went up and said that joke. He said, what is a pirate's favorite letter? And the kid goes, and Danny goes, Arr! And the kid just goes, ah! Just instantly starts. So I looked at Danny. I was like, oh, bummer, man.
Velvet touch.
Yes. How often do you get that comment?
All the time.
That's because they don't know you. We get comments from people that you would not believe how many times when I do something really disgusting with Johnny, fish, whatever. Maybe. I'm done. Dubious Maximus says, walking the plank. I need a lifeboat. Well, then you're in the right place, man. And you know what?
No accidents.
No accidents. No accidents. You thought, yeah, I saw this guy at a rally. I'll stop by and check out the channel. And then the next thing you know, you're going, damn, dude, do I drink too much? I mean, honestly, maybe I'm out of control. If you knew how many times I get emails from people that say things that sound exactly like that, man, I just stopped by your channel. I was just checking you out. And you know what? It really is a frightening moment when you go, oh, man, you know what? Maybe I got a problem. What do pigs use in the shower?
The what?
What do pigs use in a shower? Hogwash. My kidneys are cramping. I probably ate too much Halloween candy and drank too much coffee. Well, it sounds pretty logical, my friend. Wait, let's get a little more information. These weren't candy corn, were they? Because everyone knows you can eat as much candy corn as you want and not get any problem at all with cramping. You can eat a 2-pound bag. Ask Alan Valentine. He did it. No regrets, says Jeremy. He knows. By the way.
I read something about that meme. I read that's his last name.
The guy?
Yeah. And it's not really a mistake, but it looks like
still a good one.
Still very classic.
Reese's. Oh yeah, well you're in good shape. Reese's again, no issue there. Mom. I'm sorry. I am at over 10K. Isn't that cool? We've been really blessed, and we're going to be at 11K the next time we talk to you. Tomorrow morning we will be at 11,000 people, and that's awesome, right? The boat gets bigger. It's good stuff. I am in the market for a dog, says Angel Dreams. Isn't everybody? Now, by in the market for a dog, I know you mean you're going to run down there and save one at the kennel, because that's the most fun thing in the entire world to do. I mean it, man. It's like going to a prison and springing somebody. Getting Squirrel out was so cool. That cat honestly like understood what was going on. She looked at me like, dude, thank you. She didn't make one sound the entire ride home, and she has been making up for it ever since. She is a loud pussycat. Is it normal to feel unsafe when I quit using alcohol? Good God, yes, Mitch. Of course it is. And the reason that you feel unsafe is because this has been your security blanket, right? Mine was heroin. And for 3 decades, that was my security blanket. When I quit doing dope, I lost my best friend. And I went through horrible, horrible depression. Fortunately, I went and saw a professional. And there was a time when I needed Shatsy's up for adoption. There you go. I needed an SSRI, worked beautifully for me, a drug called Wellbutrin, which honestly was a lifesaver. And the concept was so foreign to me that there was a little pill that I was going to take that wasn't going to get me a buzz, but it was going to make it so that I wasn't walking around in that funk that I couldn't get out of no matter how much I journaled and no matter how much I talked about it. And it was just a matter of a small chemical imbalance. And once that got fixed, it was really life-changing stuff. Steve, you do need a new support dog. Go get one. Swapping alcohol for capsaicin is a great move. Chili Phil has done this successfully, and he does it with style. I've seen some of his stuff.
It's the reason why chili is.
Did you know eating spicy foods causes your brain to produce hormones like serotonin, which makes you're better equipped to deal with depression, anxiety, anger, stress, and Johnny Scoville is an older brother. All good things.
All those 4 things are triggers, man.
Yeah, right? No question. I'm on meds for anxiety and depression, which help. Good, Jojo. That talking to a doctor is absolutely essential. Linus was my security blanket. That would be an excellent t-shirt.
Wicked good one.
You know? Well played, Jay.
Seriously, I'm down, dude. Every time
Jay.
I hear it,
Gotcha, Jay.
yeah. We're cool, dude.
Steve says he has issues. I bet I know who you're talking about. I think my dog's a therapy human. That's going to take me the rest of the day.
Yeah. It'd have to be your bowl.
It would have to be your bowl. No one's going to get that reference.
You on the cover.
Right?
Really?
Well, that would have been genius. See, it's that small, right? It's subtle. It's just subtle.
Changes everything.
Changes the whole thing.
Whole perspective. Paradigm shift.
They don't make a pill for putting up with Johnny, apparently, Monk says.
No, they don't.
No.
You look for one for years.
He's been looking for years and years. They just do not exist. All righty, everybody. You know what this means. Well, apparently, this takes us to the top of the hour. Hold on. Shelter is the way to go, says Lori T. And you know what? We're putting that up there because, number one, Lori T is right. Shelter is the way to go. And we've got a friend on the lifeboat who is a dog saver. Goes out and has saved a couple of hundred already. And she would probably blow an O-ring if she thought you were getting a dog any other way. And you don't want her angry. Trust me. All righty, everybody. That is the top of the hour. And that means I'm going to go eat something. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. I'm going to be back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Right?
I made stuffed peppers for dinner.
Okay.
For real.
I like stuffed peppers. Dude, if I taste Vegemite or something like that, dude, I will hurl this cat at your face. This is a cat in a basket.
Vegemite.
That's because that's the only thing left in the house that you can really mess with me on.
Oh, okay.
Isn't she something? All right, everybody. We'll see you on the next one. Between now and the next time I see you, reach out and try to save somebody. And